Hello, welcome back to my lecture. The topic of this lecture is integration of radar pulses. Why we need integration of radar pulses? Radar pulses, once detected, if the system have the capability of integration of the previous pulses, then the detection efficiency will improve. Consider if your mind don't have the capability of integrating the previous frames, you cannot observe the television, you cannot view the television as a continuous picture, or a movie in the theater, you cannot perceive it as a continuous motion. So, there the integration is done by the human mind. Here also, the radar pulses echoes are represented or displayed on the scope one after the other. Now it is the ability of the radar operator to remember the previous pulse and link it with the present pulse and get a good prediction about the movement of the target. So that is one part. As an electronic system, now let us understand what are the electronic system requirements that has to be fulfilled for the integration of the radar pulses. The process of summing all the radar echo pulses for the purpose of improving detection is called as integration. The process of summing all the radar echo pulses for the purpose of improving the detection is called as integration. The number of pulses, if NB, the number of pulses NB returned from a particular target as the radar antenna scans through its beam width is equal to NB is equal to, see here, if antenna beam width is some theta b degrees. This theta b degrees may be very narrow or may be broad. This antenna will be rotating. If your target is here and it is rotating, and during the beam width, if the beam width is this much, this has to cross the beam has to completely cross the target and move to the other side. During this beam width, there are n number of pulses that may hit the target and return back as the echoes to the receiver. Now, how will you denote it? Beam width in degrees, theta b, and pulse repetition frequency. How fast the pulses are coming? That is fp. Theta b fp divided by antenna scanning rate in 1 second. How many times the antenna is coming towards the target? That should be divided. So it is very simple formula. Nb is equal to number of pulses returned is equal to theta b, beam width, and pulse repetition frequency, product of bandwidth and beam width and number of pulses divided by how many times it is coming, gives you simply the number of pulses, which can also be written as theta b fp by 6 omega m. Now this integration can be done before the detector, or it can be done after the detector also. If it is done before the detector, this is called as pre-detection or coherent detection. If the integration is carried out after the detector, then it is called as post-detection or non-coherent detection. Post-detection or non-coherent detection. Integration, after integration, we should understand how much is the integration efficiency that is achieved. Integration efficiency EI of n is given as S by n of 1 by n into signal to noise ratio at nth pulse. So here Sn by 1, S by n of 1 is value of the signal to noise ratio of a single pulse required to produce the given probability of detection. So this is the signal to noise ratio of a single pulse required to produce the given probability, and this is signal to noise ratio per pulse required to produce the same probability of detection when n pulses are integrated. When n pulses are integrated, each pulse should produce this much of signal to noise ratio. Okay, then this is called as integration efficiency. If we take this n here, that will become integration coefficient, integration improvement factor. N into EA by EA of n is an integration improvement factor. Now you replace that S by n of the previous modified radar range equation and put it here. What will you be getting? PTGA is sigma by 4 pi square KT Bn Fn and S by n of n. So this is the integration of n pulses. Because we are integrating n pulses, we wrote n here also. So the same equation, if you replace the equation with this, now what will you be getting? You will be getting the modified radar range equation as r max power 4 is equal to PTGA sigma n into EI of n divided by 4 pi square KT naught Bn Fn Sn by n 1. Because you wanted to write the equation for only this part. Now what you need to do? You need to send this that side and take it down. Now you will be getting Sn of 1 by n into S by n, n into EI of n. So that is the final R max equation what we can get. This in terms of integration improvement factor, R max is denoted. Now the next topic is pulse repetition frequency and range ambiguities. What is pulse repetition frequency? The rate at which pulses are transmitted is called as PRF. This pulse repetition frequency is decided by the target range. If you want to measure the range of a target which is very far away, then you cannot have large PRF, because you need to give the electromagnetic signal to go hit the target and come back. This you can do for a few number of times. If you put lot of PRF, system will not work. So we have to decide the pulse repetition frequency such that it matches your range. Now the rate at which the pulses are transmitted is called as pulse repetition frequency. Now the second point is echo signals received after an interval exceeding the pulse repetition period are called as second time around echoes or multiple time around echoes. See, we will transmit a pulse. That pulse should go and hit the target, come back as the echo. Then if your target is at the R max point. Now where will you get the target? Where will you get a echo? See, if the target is very near to the radar station, then immediately you will get an echo here. If it is half of its maximum distance, then you will get echo in the middle of two pulses. If it is almost at the maximum distance, then you will get a pulse here, echo pulse here. So what do you understand? A pulse once transmitted should come back as an echo during this time period only. After this time period, whatever is coming, that is coming from a distance beyond the unambiguous range. This is the unambiguous range. This is the maximum unambiguous range that your radar can detect. So if an echo is coming after this duration, that means the echo is coming from a distance beyond your target range, beyond your radar range. First condition. Then if you observe this waveform here, this is the actual echo. The echo which is repeating in the second pulse is called as second time around echo. If the same pulse is repeating in the third pulse also, after the transmission of third pulse also, it should not be called as second time around echo, but it is called as multiple time around echo. So here the radar operator will understand there is a target here. In this case, he has to predict that there are two targets, one at location B, another at location A dash, which is a false. If in the third case, if the target moved to a new location called C location, then if both the pulses B and A are also coming, then the radar operator understands that there are three targets, one at B, another one at C, another one at A double dash. Actually, B is the second time around echo and A dash is multiple time around echo, which both are false. Only the true echo is at C. During these conditions, the operator will get confused where the actual target is. In such conditions, how we can overcome is, you transmit one frequency during the pulse 1 and transmit F2. Here you transmit F1, you will get echo related to F1 only. You transmit F2 here, what will you get? You will get actual target in F2 frequency, and F1 frequency will also be coming as second time around echo. Then you can easily distinguish, my frequency is B2, this is true, and you can discard this. In the third case also, if you have transmitted F3 new frequency, then you can easily identify that your actual target is at C but not at B bar and A double bar. So using different frequencies for each pulse can lead you to overcome the range ambiguities caused by the multiple time around echoes. I think you understood the topic. Thank you very much.